Christine DiGiulio. You may know me from Home and Garden TV. I'm going to get you started on a great new way to decorate using the innovative Walls with Style products from Newell Rubbermaid. Decorative painting has become a popular way to dramatically transform the look of a room. But traditional techniques can be difficult to master. Well, Walls with Style has changed all of that. This complete line of decorative painting tools is designed specifically for the do-it-yourselfer. First-timers and experienced painters alike will appreciate the user-friendly design of these tools. Whether you're going for a formal, elegant look or something fun and whimsical, Walls with Style has a tool to help you get professional results quickly and easily. You don't have to be an artist to use Walls with Style. Now, I have to tell you that the research and development team at Newell Rubbermaid has been very busy, and I have a lot of product demonstrations and helpful information to cover. To find a specific topic, just refer to the table of contents that appears between each section. Then fast forward through the tape using the numbers in the upper right-hand corner of the screen as a guide. Now, let's get started. Preparing a wall for decorative painting is no different than traditional painting. First, you'll need to fill any cracks or nail holes in the wall with spackling compound and sand the patches smooth when they're dry. For older walls, be sure to wash them if they are dirty. A fresh coat of primer is a good idea if the wall has been stained or repaired. If this is a new wall that hasn't been painted or papered before, it will definitely need a coat of primer. When priming or decorating, be sure to mask off the ceiling and woodwork with masking tape. Make up a checklist to make sure you have all the extras that make the job easier. You'll need painter's trim tape, drop cloths, a step ladder, paint can pour spouts, and mixing sticks. When you're done with your project, you'll be surprised how easily Walls with Style tools clean up. Soap and warm water is all you'll need. Choosing your paints and colors has been made easier because Walls with Style decorating tools are designed to work with latex paints and glazes. Color cards that you'll find in any paint store will show you the wide selection of colors that are available. Hold the colors you like side by side to see how they look together. For more color ideas, check out your favorite wallpaper store. When you find a pattern with colors you like, take it to where you buy your paint. They can match the colors exactly. If you want more information on selecting colors, check out the Paint Online section of the Walls with Style website at www.wallswithstyle.com. While many of the Walls with Style products use standard latex paint, there are a number of techniques that work better if you use glaze. Glaze extends the drying time of standard paint, allowing you to work and rework an area until you get the effect you want. Glaze also makes paint more translucent for a more subtle and sophisticated effect. Glaze works best when mixed with paint that has at least a satin or eggshell sheen. You can add glaze to paint in almost any amount, depending upon the tool you're using and the effect you want. The label should give you some mixing recommendations, but feel free to experiment until you're happy with the result. The Walls with Style Twin Roller Kit lets you paint two colors at once to quickly create a beautifully blended paint effect. Begin by filling the paint tray wells about 1/4 full with each of your two colors. The twin roller works best with standard latex paint. Glaze is not required. Now you're ready to begin trimming. Load up one of the edge tools in the paint tray and blot out any excess paint. Build your pattern by applying color a bit at a time until you get the effect you want. Twist your wrist to make the pattern irregular and random. When you're ready to apply the second color, load the other edge tool with your second color. and go around the wall again, filling in the open spaces and bringing the colors together. If you see any patterns forming, touch them up to break up the repetition. When you've finished trimming the ceiling, corners, and edges, you can start rolling on your wall pattern. Begin by loading the twin rollers and rolling off the excess paint. Start in a corner and work in small sections. Keep twisting and turning the rollers in random directions as you build your pattern. Turn the twin roller over in your hand occasionally to reverse the colors and help balance the shading. Continue working each section until you're happy with the amount of blending. The more you work an area, the more blended and subtle the effect will become. If you feel a section has become too blended, reload the roller and go over that section to add contrast as needed. When you're happy with the look, move to a new section and blend back into the area you've just completed. Step back occasionally and make adjustments as needed to get a uniform effect. And there it is, a beautifully decorated wall. But the twin roller can be used on more than plain walls. Try decorating directly over brick, paneling, plaster, and wallpaper. The textures of the surface actually help to create exciting effects. You'll never go back to wallpaper or stenciled borders after you try the Walls with Style Accent Roller Kit. Now you can roll on borders or all over patterns quickly and easily. Choose from a long and growing list of classic and contemporary pattern options for accenting plain or decorated walls. Begin by filling your tray about 1/4 full. Then load the accent roller and roll off any excess paint. To create a border, roll your pattern on slowly with firm pressure, but stop before you run out of paint. Refer to the number on the indexing dial before lifting the roller from the wall. Reload your roller. Now turn the dial to the index number, line up the roller, and continue rolling as before. For all over patterns, use a light, random, and sparing touch. Less is more when it comes to accenting. The Walls with Style Color Blending Kit is perfect for creating marble-like painted effects. The blending pad distributes the paint into subtle and attractive patterns. Begin by snapping the applicator pad onto the handle. The handle allows the pad to pivot or lock in place, whichever is most comfortable to your hand. Before you use the pad, you'll need to remove any loose fibers. These fibers are normal for new blending pads and won't reappear once removed. Add approximately 1 cup of water per gallon of each color of paint. Glaze can also be used. You can use from 2 to 6 different colors when color blending. It is recommended that the base coat be at least a satin or semi-gloss sheen. Heavily load up the brush and quickly apply splotches of paint in a random pattern, leaving room for your additional colors. Work in a relatively small area so that the paint splotches remain wet throughout the process. Large splotches will give you larger gradations of color. Smaller splotches will give you a more stippled effect. There's no need to clean your brush between colors, just wipe off any excess. When most of the base coat is covered, roughly blend the area with a blending pad. Now lightly pat the wet surface with the blending pad. Continue blending until you get the effect you want. If an area becomes too blended, you can add contrast by reapplying colors with the brush and reblending with the pad. When you're happy with the look, move to a new section and blend back into the wet edges of the area you've just completed. For hard-to-reach areas, use the handy trim tool. Step back occasionally and make adjustments as needed to get a uniform effect. The Walls with Style Rag Roller Kit makes handling messy rags a thing of the past. The rag roller works best if you add glaze to your paint, and it is recommended that your base coat be at least a satin or eggshell sheen so your top coat will slide over the base coat. A good rule of thumb for rag rolling is to use 4 parts glaze to 1 part paint, but feel free to experiment. Begin by filling the tray about 1/4 full. Now you must prepare the rag roller cover. Stretch out all of the loops on the cover by giving them a good tug. Over time, the loops will stretch out a bit further, which is just fine. The looser the loops, the more random the final effect will be. Now, thoroughly load up your rag roller and roll it out until the paint is evenly distributed. Where you start is not important. Simply roll out in a fanning motion, working in small areas you can comfortably reach. Keep alternating directions to keep the pattern random. Lightly blend the area for a bolder texture, or continue blending for a more subtle look. The longer you work an area, the more subtle the pattern becomes. Heavily worked patterns will imitate the natural distressing of leather. When you're happy with the look, move to a new section and blend back into the wet edges of the area you've just completed. Step back occasionally and make adjustments as needed to get a uniform effect. Edging around trim, ceilings, and corners works best if your wall texture is still wet, so edge in sections as you work your way across the wall. Load your edging tool, working out excess paint. Use a patting motion, rotating the tool as you go to get a random effect that matches the wall texture. Keep your pattern narrow. You're only concerned with this small edge that the roller didn't reach. The rag roller works great with multiple color techniques. I'm going to show you a terrific 3-color pattern. Begin by applying a very dark base coat. I used black. Then rag roll on your second color. In this case, I chose a rich tan. Lightly build the color until you cover about 70% of the base coat. Now clean out your roller and add the final color as an accent. You might want to practice on a piece of paper before you begin. Use very light, short strokes, lifting at the end of each pass. Alternate the angles to get a random pattern. Continue until you're happy with the look. The Walls with Style Sponge Roller Kit lets you create soft, lacy effects that range from subtle to dramatic. Begin by filling the tray about 1/4 full. Regular latex paint works great with the sponge roller, but if you'd like a more translucent look to your colors, you can add glaze to your paint. Now lightly load your sponge roller and roll it out until the paint is evenly distributed. Work in small areas you can comfortably reach. Use slow, light, short strokes. Lift the roller off the wall after each stroke. Keep alternating directions to keep the pattern random. The more you work an area, the heavier and more evenly blended the sponge effect will become. When you're happy with the look, move to a new section and blend back into the area you've just completed. Step back occasionally and make adjustments as needed to get a uniform effect. Now load your edging tool, working out any excess paint, and begin blending your sponge texture along all of your edges and in the corners. Use a patting motion, rotating the tool as you go to get a random effect. Keep your pattern narrow. You're only concerned with the small edge the roller didn't reach. If you want to lighten and blend your effect, here's a tip from the pros. Use the eraser technique by going back over your pattern with the base coat color in your sponge roller or edge tool until you get the look you're after. The sponge roller works best with multiple colors. If you're planning on using 2 or more colors, be sure to apply your first color sparingly to leave room for the later colors. Now, lightly sponge on your second color until you're happy with the look. The Walls with Style patented color wash brush lets you create a soft, color washed effect by blending two paint colors with every stroke. Or use the color wash brush to create informal double stripes. Color washing works best with glaze. You can experiment with how much glaze to add to your paint, but you should at least use a 50-50 mixture of glaze to paint. If you want a sheer look, a 7:1 glaze to paint ratio is a good rule of thumb for color washing. Your base coat should always be at least a satin or eggshell sheen so your top coat will slide over your base coat. When selecting colors, the sky's the limit, but here's a tip from the pros. Try selecting the lightest and the darkest colors off of the color sample that you are interested in for the right amount of contrast for color washing. Begin by filling the paint tray wells about 1/4 full with each of your two previously mixed paint glaze mixtures. Now load your color wash brush. Start in the corner of your wall and work in an X pattern. Keep crisscrossing in quick, short strokes. Work a small area that is comfortable for your reach. When the area is covered, continue working the glaze to get a very blended, soft look. Then move over and start a new area, which you then blend back into the first. Step back occasionally to check your work and make adjustments as needed. Edging with the color wash brush is easy. Simply work your tool in next to the trim and blend back into the finished wall with short, quick strokes. Edging works best if your wall texture is still wet. The color wash brush also works for stripes and plaid effects. We're intentionally going for a casual, dry brush effect. Don't worry about running out of paint as you stripe. Simply reload the brush and pick up where you left off. To create plaid, brush horizontal stripes over your pattern. Add unique colors, textures, and patterns in practically no time with the Walls with Style stipple roller. Begin by filling the tray about 1/4 full. Regular latex paint works great with the stipple roller. No glaze is required. Prepare your stipple roller cover by fluffing up the nap with your hand. Now load your stipple roller and roll it out until the paint is evenly distributed. Work in small areas you can comfortably reach. Use slow, light, short strokes. Lift the roller from the wall at the end of each stroke. Pressing harder on the roller will make the pattern fill in, so keep the pressure light. Keep alternating directions to keep the pattern random. If you plan on using additional colors, be sure to leave room in your pattern. The more you work an area, the heavier and more evenly blended the stipple effect will become. When you're happy with the look, move to a new section and blend back into the area you've just completed. Step back occasionally and make adjustments as needed to get a uniform effect. Now load your edging tool, working out excess paint. And begin blending your stipple texture along all of your edges and in the corners. Use a patting motion, rotating the tool as you go to get a random effect that matches your wall texture. Keep your pattern narrow. You're only concerned with the small edge the roller didn't reach. To add a second color, roll the stippler out thoroughly, on paper if needed, until it is almost dry. Then lightly apply the highlight color until you get the effect you want. If you want to lighten and blend your effect, here's a tip from the pros. Use the eraser technique by going back over your pattern with a previous color in your stipple roller or edge tool until you get the look you're after. The Walls with Style striping roller applies two colors of informal stripes at the same time. A variety of stripe designs are available as accessories. Have fun mixing and matching patterns and colors. Begin by filling the paint tray wells about 1/4 full with each of your two colors. The striping roller works great with regular latex paint, but if you'd like a more translucent look to your colors, you can add glaze to your paint. Now, load up your striping roller in the paint tray and roll it out thoroughly until the paint is evenly distributed. You may want to test your pattern on paper first. Start on one side of the wall and draw down your first stripe. Go slowly with even pressure. Don't worry if your stripe is not perfect. It's not supposed to be. Imperfections only add to the charm of this loose and fun effect. Accuracy isn't critical, so you can estimate the distance between each stripe. If you can, try to get through a stripe without stopping in the middle to reload. Stripes in smaller areas, such as chair rails, will be easier to apply in one pass. Use a foam brush to extend the stripes to the baseboard, ceiling, or chair rail trim. To get a plaid effect, also stripe horizontally. Additional patterns are available in 9-inch and 4-inch striping roller covers. The 9-inch roller covers fit on the twin roller frame as well as any standard roller frame. There is almost no limit to the number of ways combs can be used in decorative painting. And of course, Walls with Style offers a complete line of paint combs. When using combs, there are a few pointers to keep in mind. Your base paint should always be at least a satin or eggshell sheen, so your top coat will slide over your base coat. Also, glaze should be added to your paint. A 4-to-1 mixture of glaze to paint is a good rule of thumb, but feel free to experiment. For more about glaze, refer to that section of this video. Begin by applying a strip of paint as wide as your tool, plus approximately 2 inches. Then immediately pull your comb down through the wet paint. Wipe off your comb after each pass. Now paint on your second strip, blending back into the wet edge left over from your previous pass. The 2-inch edge allows you to continue across the wall without disturbing the comb effect you've just completed. That's the basic idea. Now try combing a second pass at a 90-degree angle for a linen effect. You can also try S-shaped patterns, or this classic scalloped effect. Or how about waves? Combs are fun and flexible decorative tools. Have fun experimenting. Walls with Style has designed a wide range of fun and whimsical decorative stamps. Walls with Style stamps are mounted on a see-through base for easy alignment and feature an easy-to-hold handle. Stamps can be used alone or in combination with other decorative paint techniques. They are simple to use. Apply a thin coat of latex paint to the face of the stamper with a Walls with Style 3-inch foam roller. It's available as an accessory. Carefully position the stamper and press firmly and evenly onto your surface. Glaze is not required, but adding glaze to your paint will allow your stamper to go further before reloading. Refer to the glaze section of this video for more information about glaze. Adding additional colors to your stamper pattern is easy. Paint your multicolored pattern onto the stamper using a Walls with Style artist brush. Using multiple colors will give your impressions a soft, dimensional quality. Well, we've covered a lot of decorating techniques in this video, and you've seen how to use some of the many Walls with Style products. The Walls with Style system is a growing line of do-it-yourself wall decorating products with new items being developed and introduced all the time. If you'd like to find out what's new or where you can buy the complete line of Walls with Style products, just call the toll-free number shown here. A customer service representative will be happy to provide you with the location of a store near you, or just tell you about the newest Walls with Style products from Newell Rubbermaid. Well, Good luck decorating. I know you're going to wind up with some great looking walls with style.